how cyber criminals are moving into the mobile world and the techniques that they would use in order to steal information from yours, your friends, your families, your colleagues, your users' mobile devices. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use everyone's favourite Apple iPhone, often described by many as the most secure device available on the market today. So first things first, you log into your device using the PIN code, you go to your native email, and you find yourself a very inviting email in your inbox. So this is the actual enrollment email that you received when you register for the Mobile World Congress. This was back in February, it feels like quite a long time ago now. I was fortunate enough to attend the conference, and as I mentioned, when you register, you receive an email such as this. A trend that I've noticed at pretty much all events of any reasonable size these days is they create and publish their own application, so you can see who is speaking in which halls at which time, and you can generally navigate and organise yourself around the things that are important to you. This is no different. So they advertise a Congress event application for the conference, and they provide a link for you to click. So being a bit of a nerd, I thought, this would be interesting. There's 100,000 people connected to a public Wi-Fi using open encryption. Once you're connected, you can see everybody else's traffic in the clear. Wouldn't it be interesting to modify the enrollment email, change the URL, and then basically packet capture the open traffic on that Wi-Fi looking for clear text email addresses? You could then resend the same email again, but instead of taking you to their website, I'm going to take you to my website instead. So this is an example now of a phishing website. So it's continuing in the same vein. I am aiming to entice you as a user into installing my application when you actually believe that it came from somewhere else. So the look and feel changes slightly because obviously we've built our own website here, but it describes the wonderful features of the application, why you as a user would want to install it, and of course a method by which you can install it. I'm on an Apple device, I'm going to go to the App Store and grab the app. However, the security aware amongst us might recognise the fact this is not taking me to the App Store, this is redirecting for a side load of an enterprise application. In English, it's going to stuff the app in the back door using a certificate rather than taking it from the Apple App Store. So 99% of users are not going to be aware of that. They will be click happy and they click install. This next step would not exist in the real world because Check Point is a very, very conscious security company that doesn't want people accidentally downloading malware. So we've put a little passcode on there because it's internet facing, that website. So next step, the user's probably like, oh, okay, so that's fine. I've now got a mobile conference app. Great, that installed nice and quick. This is all, demo malware. This is in a safe environment. Of course, we've got a big disclaimer in red which says this is going to steal your stuff. So that's exactly what it's going to do. But from the user's perspective, everything's legit. It looks good. I've got my app, I'm happy. And of course, if this was a real app, I could use it in the capacity that it was originally designed for. But it's not. It's been repackaged, and it includes some additional features which we describe as mobile remote access Trojan. Now, I'm just going to swap over to my laptop, and I'm going to show you what's going on behind the scenes. So I don't really have a means to show my phone to everybody. Maybe I can prop it there or something, so you know I'm not cheating. So while I wait for my laptop to wake up, there we go. I'm going to show you the attacker's capability leveraging the application that I've tricked my victim into installing. This is what we call a command and control server. In English, it's a website connected to the app that allows me to interact with the application. Mobile applications have something called permissions, and these are permissions which allow the app to interact with other apps or other parts of the operating system or parts of the device. Basically, things like camera, microphone, GPS, etc., etc. So using the permissions that the app has on the device, the attacker can trigger a data collection of information from the victim phone, and I could even hijack the microphone using the permissions of the app to collect covert voice recordings. So I've got emails coming through, so I think my phone's probably flashing up showing the emails. But what it isn't just going is, I'm having my microphone hijacked. It's not a native feature of the operating system. It's not a native feature of anybody's operating system. That's why security vendors exist. So aside from that, the attacker now has a wonderful device which is always on some kind of battery, is always connected to some kind of network, 3G, 4G, or Wi-Fi. So it effectively means 24 hours a day, anywhere in the world, it's contactable, it's attackable. So it's a nice piece of equipment for me to collect information from at will. In my particular scenario, you can see that I've run this demo before, I have now collected a payload from the device in the form of an email, sent it through to my own email address. An attacker probably wouldn't do this in the real world, but it's nice and convenient for a demo. The screen's a little bit blurry, but I think you can make out the fact those are phone numbers from the address book. I have collected the top 10 address book contacts from my victim. The personal details of that victim's friends, family and colleagues are now exposed. Why is that useful? If I've infected a phone and it belongs to somebody who works in a global bank, I might actually be not searching for that person in particular, but looking to navigate that personal network to try and find somebody who's maybe a bit more senior, maybe has credentials for databases or web servers. So I can use this as a reconnaissance portion of a cyber attack. So I'm not going to steal all your data because your data is valuable. It's not what is on your device, it's actually who I can find in terms of other contact details, so I can spread out and look for other individuals within your organization that might be more interesting to me. I've hijacked information from GPS. So I've captured satellite coordinates and they're readily dumpable into Google Maps, so I can pinpoint my victim's movements. Pretty scary stuff, right? Why is this useful? There's something called CXO fraud, and it's on an exponential increase because it's quick and easy cash. It's, once again, very low tech, but very high yield, because it relies on you tricking somebody by using the authority of somebody important, hence the term CXO. So you want any chief of anything that you can get hijack their phone in this exact situation, and as they are, as I'm tracking their location, I might say, right, so Fred, whose phone I've hijacked, is making his way towards the tube stop at Blackfriars over the bridge, or maybe he's going to go offline for a certain period of time. Now might be a really good time to send a text message to somebody in the finance team and say, I'm really important, I want you to make a payment to the Cayman Islands right now, $100,000, I expect it to be done by the time I pop up at bank on the Northern Line. So you're using that kind of authority of the hijacked device to try and trigger a financial transaction and get a payment made to the attacker's bank account. And that's surprisingly successful. Every organization has different checks, measures and controls, but somebody important starts yelling at you over text, demanding things get done, there's a chance it might get done, and that's quick and easy money for an attacker. So there's another use case that data might have for a cyber criminal. So what else did I steal? I stole device information. Looks kind of boring on the surface, but actually I can see that Fred is pretty lazy, hasn't updated his iOS for a while, which is not typical. Most iOS users do update it, so I know this guy is really lazy. So I might have a whole brace of other vulnerabilities that I can update my app to take advantage of, such as if the fact the person hasn't updated to version 9.3.5, I know that Trident or Pegasus are two vulnerabilities that I could take advantage of on this device. And then I've got your calendar, so I know where you're going, who you're seeing, where your meetings are. If you're a competitor, this gives me a competitive advantage because I know who you're talking to. I might turn the microphone on when you're in an important meeting and do something a bit like this. So while we were talking, I captured an audio file from the phone, and I'm going to put the mic next to the speaker. Emails coming through, so I think my phone's probably flashing up showing the emails, but what it isn't just going is, I'm having my microphone hijacked. So that was me from 5 minutes ago. Feature of the operating system. The iPhone in particular has got a pretty high quality microphone on it, and you can pick up stuff from when it's in your bag or in your pocket quite clearly. In a boardroom environment where it's quite large and echoey, you can pick up everybody in the room quite easily. And if you want to, you can post-process the audio file to try and flick up the gain on some of the other background noises as well, and go all CSI on the audio processing and get lots more information out of that. But for me, that's good enough. So ultimately, yes, this is a bit of fun, and this is just a demo scenario, but what I'm trying to communicate to you guys is, what I've done today is show you a very low sophistication social engineering attack that didn't require me to write a exploit to a 0-day or spend $1 million buying it from a black hat organization. I'm not a government hacker. I don't have access to that kind of material, although our research team in Tel Aviv does. What I've done is actually use hack the person approach. So it doesn't matter how secure your operating system is, how secure your measures or your controls are, it's still always the weakest link. And if you don't have any mobile security presence on your device whatsoever, that attack could be successful and remain on the device for a period of weeks, months, or maybe even years. Average refresh on the phones is what, 24-month contract? That could be on the phone for 24 months if it was something more useful in a conference application. Anyway, so really what I'm urging you to think about is even, social engineering and simple attacks can be very effective exposing personal and business information. And when it comes to the mobile device, if you don't have a security footprint, this becomes an unknown. You have no idea it's happening, and this kind of information has been exfiltrated. I strongly suggest that you talk to your mobility representative about getting a view of what your potential risk and exposure is. We have a number of security checkup programs we can run to give you visibility of mobile risk, or even run a more advanced proof of concept using our mobile threat prevention product to give you a very detailed view of risk on your users' devices, whether they be corporate owned or BYOD. We can work in both scenarios. So that's pretty much all from me. I think I've eaten up all my time pretty successfully. Thanks very much. Cheers.